Welcome back to A Toda Madre. It's your boy Rod Lus, and let's talk about this beautiful show. This season series finale. This season series ending of Stranger Things. As you guys remember from the last episode, where I told you guys that this was the weakest one, going into episode 8, I never felt iffy about it. I felt like it was gonna be great. I knew there were gonna be some sacrifices. I knew that there was gonna be some deaths. Like every other season series finale. I was okay with it, but I kinda knew that we weren't gonna get that many major character deaths. And by that I mean the kids, because they're kids at the end. Usually they don't pull the trigger on the kids. I knew that them four or them what is it? Four, Robin five, Snazzy six, Holly seven. Then Sam was that eight? Yeah, about 10 characters were pretty safe, including Joyce herself, 11. I believe the only ones that were in danger was Hopper, number 8, 11, Steve, and Jonathan. Those were the only ones who I felt were gonna catch a bullet or were gonna catch a bye bye, right? And obviously, I was kind of right. I was kind of right. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers throughout, actually, not ahead. Throughout. Once I kept looking at even though it was 2 hours, I kept looking at it. I kept looking at it. Kept seeing it. I was not bored. I was not like, come on, come on. Like I said, none of the episodes leading into episode 8 felt rushed. Everything was to a point, to a T. Could have been that it was 68 minutes long, 72 minutes long, 2 hours long. It didn't matter. It was cinematic. It was good. It was point to point to point to point. Never feeling rushed, especially for a series finale. Did I like the way that they went for it? I did. Did I see some plot holes? I kind of did as well, right? So before I did this review and all that, because I literally saw the movie yesterday morning, I kind of wanted to do more research before I can talk my bull crap. Do more research, like why were the Demogorgons more stronger to the bullets than the Mind Flyer? Why was there no Demogorgons at the final fight? And from the little bit of research that I did, from rewatching some video, some highlights, and all that, I guess I understood. Which I can see how it happened. Is not much of a plot hole, but I'm guessing they used all the Demogorgons to use a physical body for the Mind Flyer. Which I was like, okay, if it comes down to that, why not? At first, when I first saw it, I'm like, where were they? Where was everyone? Where were all their baddies? Because I'm like, we literally saw them in episode 4. We saw them in episode 5, if I recall. Did we see one in episode 5? Or episode 6 or episode 7? When they're in the hospital. I think that was episode 7, I think. And then we get to not see him in episode 8 at all. We didn't get to see the bats at all. And if everything came to that they can make a body for the Mind Flyer, they could have at least shown that they're getting created into that instead of us alluding to that. Because at the end of the day, now it's opinionated because it didn't say that, or then you have to make a conclusion that you're like, okay, I guess. No, okay. Like, I don't like it, but it is what it is. All right. Now, everything else, though, the military fighting them, the military going into getting the L and Hopper, um, the strategy, them planning it and everything just felt great. Like everything felt great leading up to the big shebang. I do love the fact how they're looking like we have to go in through here, we have to go in through there, we have to go in through here. When they're in Vecna's brain, I like how they tricked them. But at the same time, I loved when Vecna returned, how he tricked Hopper, how he showed him the conversation, but then how he tricked Hopper into shooting the tank. That was beautiful to me. I was like, wow, why? I'm like, because he needed them out of the tank. and it was such a beautiful piece that for me it made sense. For me, it made perfect sense to bring him into reality, to give Hopper a check. Like, here you go. That conversation or that full come circle of Hopper and 11, where he's saying that you're mad because you didn't open the door, that you're this, that you're that, seeing you growing up and all that. I just wish he could have brought up the egos. That would have been a beautiful piece at the end. I loved it. I love the full circle for them. Them not showing that she can go up there made the scene when she's fighting Vecna a lot more cooler, because I didn't expect. I knew it was either gonna be him, her, or William or Will, but for me it just caught me off guard because I thought it was gonna be Will. Will was literally right there, and then I was like, and then L comes in for the saving. So because they didn't show her jumping into there, it never caught on to me. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be Will kind of stopping him before L shows up, and no, it was L, and then Will shows up at the end, which is good to me. I did not like the fact, even though they showed that it was like a big atmosphere at the abyss. I didn't like how they took forever to get there. Like, they took forever to go to the hand, to the mind flyer structure and all that. Even when they were running, it just seems so iffy to me. So iffy. Um, I'm just talking about the series finale right now. I like how they used everything. I love how they used number eight's power. I love how they used Hopper in the scenes. They used the guy with the beard and glasses. I forgot his name. They used the little what's his name? Mike's? No, not Mike's. What's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. The black kid's sister and the scientist. How they used them. I loved how they used them in there. Jonathan already coming full circle with Steve as well. Um, the only one that didn't make, well, how can I say it? Even Mike and Steve, Sam and that kid again. I don't. I mean, everything was making sense until one character that did not make sense at all. Joyce. The only reason why Joyce was up there with Will is to protect Will, but at the same time, I'm like, you're not really doing anything. You're not fighting the Mind Flyer. You're not doing anything. Anything. And she disappeared for the whole act. I would say for season 5, she was gone after episode 4. She kind of didn't play a major anything. She went from like the best thing in season 1 about this crying mother, worried mother, to having a decent season 2, to having a decent season 3 in Russia and all that. Same thing with season 4. And then she kind of disappears in season 5 overall, even in the season finale. And this is after episode 4, like I said. But, but she does get the final blow. I'll get to it later, though. That in the past episodes, they were showing you when Sam and Holly were getting away, and they entered that cave, and they were showing you all that. When they showed you that briefcase and that it was Henry who came to save him, and then like Henry kills that kid, that guy, that old man, that scientist. I knew, I knew that obviously for this final season we were gonna see what was there, and that whole shebang. They showed you why Henry was scared. It wasn't that he was scared. It was that the mind flyer kept blocking his memory from that. That kind of made him fear it until he finally saw what it was. And I love the interaction between William and Vecna, where he's seeing this and he's feeling his pain, he's feeling everything. And then finally, Will sees that Vecna was not always evil, that the mind flyer infected him. And Will tells him, you're not evil. Come to us. Come to us. You let it go. You're just another victim, just like us. And I just love the fact that Vecna doubled down on that, hit the blackjack, and he's like, no, he never controlled me. I'm in control. We're both him. Oh my god, they doubled down. I was scared. I'm gonna say this. I was scared they were gonna go that direction. They were gonna go that direction and make Vecna could, and Vecna was gonna be the one fighting the Mind Flyer with 11, with 8, and Will. And when they doubled down inside of me, I was cheering like a little kid. It was like if I was watching Rambo 4 when he's mowing down all those guys. It was like if I saw Captain America lift the hammer up. It was just an amazing villain mode where the villain tells you, no, man, I'm the villain. I'm the shit. Oh, when I saw that, I was like, man, you just created a great villain. Was he the main villain for all 5 seasons? No, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. But him, he carried season 4. Henry's acting as a human, probably the best one in the show. Maybe, because Will did show up at the end. Holly was decent for a little girl. Hopper and Joyce, their chemistry shines over everyone. Acting wise, though, Henry got down. And then his voice as Vecna, when he says, like, no, I'm in control. Oh my God. Vecna, his design, I cannot, if there was CGI, I cannot see it as much. Maybe the claws were, man, I don't know. I do know that a lot of actors do hate to do those long sitting, standing hours on makeup effects, but I loved it. I love this villain. And like I said, love the fact that Stranger Things double down saying, no, he's the villain and he's the boss. He's the main guy. He's shit. And there you go. There you have it. That's how Vecna was supposedly a victim, but he's not a victim. So voila. Boom, boom, down, owned. When I saw the meme and then I saw the show, I couldn't take it off. I was like, oh my God, that is freaking Rambo. They made her into Rambo. The only thing I will question and ask, because I didn't go back and saw all 4 last seasons, when did Nancy learn how to be a badass shooter? I mean, I know she's fighting for Holly and she's fighting for her family. She's pissed how they did that to her mom. But when did she become such a badass shooter, fighter? She was a good journalist detective, but she wasn't a fucking Rambo. So I guess fighting monster makes you better, or not being afraid of the upside down. I just it was iffy. It was iffy to me. I'm okay, but that's a big character arc change that could have been to someone else that has been dealing with this. They still made they still had great speeches at the end when they're graduating. I didn't understand how Sam graduated when she was 2 years in a coma. She probably missed about 500 days, and she graduated somehow, some way. Not even summer school would have saved that woman or that girl. Well, I don't know, maybe right. 0 period, 8 period, ROP in the summer and summer school, maybe. I don't know. And maybe the 1980s were different back in the day. They basically all graduated. They showed you that the 4 older guys, Steve, Jonathan, Nancy, and Robin, that they've been on their own thing and that they all live separate. One's in New York, Boston. Steve is right there, and the other chick, I don't know where she went. Robin, I forgot where she went. But that's something that I did love about the ending, the monologue, right? Like, how's everyone doing? Like, where they go, where they went, how this Hopper and Joyce, all of that, all that ending is like the happy ending that you want to get from each TV show. Going back to the Vecna final battle, going back to it, when I saw him still breathing at the end, and then I saw Joyce, I'm like, she has to end the final blow. Originally, I wanted Will because he's the one who suffered, but seeing Joyce there, it makes it perfect for her to do the final blow because she also is one of the main characters that got to suffer. Her kid was kidnapped in a way. She didn't know what was going on. Then they showed that he was dead. Then she comes back, and then his son is all this, and she's worried about him a lot. Not only that, she was a single mother as well. She loses her home. She loses her boyfriend from season 1, Mister Sam Wise Guy. Was it Wise Guy? Wise Guy the Brave. You know, the guy from Encino Man, the guy from Lord of the Rings. When he was killed off, I knew right away when I was watching Stranger Things one, I was like, he's getting it because he's the most famous out of the show. If it ain't Winona Ryder, it's him, Sean Austin, Aston. But obviously, you can kind of tell that you're not gonna kill off Winona Ryder. You're gonna kill off this guy, and it makes sense. Again, Hopper's character, I thought he was gonna get killed off. He didn't. He survived. I thought he was gonna be one of the ones doing the sacrifice. I knew the number 8 was gonna get it. I thought Steve and Jonathan were gonna sacrifice vice versa for Nancy. But that didn't happen. It kind of looked like it was gonna be Steve without sacrifice, just him dying. But no, you're not gonna kill him off like that. Would have been People would have been pissed. I can say that people would have been pissed if it happened like that. So me myself, as a guy who's seen watching many shows, got me myself who's seen many movies, me myself who has seen plenty of stuff, read a lot of comics and all that. I knew he was not gonna kill like that, not a character like that. If it would have, I would have plotted him, but I knew they were gonna pull the trigger. And then of course 11, who sacrificed herself because she knew that if she kept on living in the real world, they were never gonna ever live in peace. So when the guy, the one with the beard, no hair, with the kicks it with Hopper, they set up the bomb so they can blow up the whole upside down, and he takes off. I mean, they take off all of it when they think they're winning. The military people ambush him at the end. 11 disappears or walks away into the upside down, and then she basically gives her final goodbye to Will of why she's gonna do it and why later on why he's gonna have to understand that. And boom, everything disappears, everything blows up, the upside down it doesn't exist anymore. And that was a final goodbye to 11. And of course, if that's what you want to believe. Because at the very end, when Mike are doing their graduation celebration, he's telling them that Will the Wizard or Will the brave Will the Bold, he's showing them that what he gets to be in the future and how this guy goes with his best friends and he goes on to have fun in college. Sam and this guy, they get to live a future falling in love more and more and more. And they're like, "What about you, Mike?" And Mike's like, "Well, I get to tell the stories, but there's only one story that I can't tell, at least at full extent." And then he tells them in the final battle, even though we never heard this, she never said it, she never, right? He's saying that basically 8 didn't die, that she was there for her final chance. She made L disappear, and she made this illusion that Elle couldn't use her powers. So they made her, when everything snapped or when everything blew up, she disappeared. Well, Elle ran invisible because she couldn't use her own powers because of the sonar thing that they had. So through her powers, she managed to jump off or run far away with her invisibility powers that she can masquerade. So 8 does finally sacrifice herself, dies with the explosion. But for Will's story at the end, it's like, is that what did really happen? Will's like, if that's what you want to believe, then everyone says, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Will says, I believe. I kind of like that it gives you that interpretation. It's like, if you want to believe that Elle is alive, go for it. And then they do show you they go to a place where there's 2 waterfalls or happy ending and all that. Um, or they can go to the interpretation of, I believe that she's dead. It gives you 2 options. You want the happy ending or you want the bittersweet ending. I love a bittersweet ending, so I decided not to believe that she's alive for 2 reasons why that doesn't make sense. That it took him 18 months for Mike to realize to be able to say that story because of some speakers. And while that thing's blowing up, it had to blow up first, meaning that 8 cannot hold her power because she's in the same building where that thing blew up. So how can she be invisible the whole time? I believe in a bittersweet ending. I love the show. The whole show on its own. The whole show on its own. Sorry. The whole season 8 on its own. It was a banging episode after episode after episode. Only episode 7 was the weakest one. A lot of people want to say that 8 was weak. I don't think it was that weak. Um, the whole season 8, I want to say is like a 9, a 9 out of 10. I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because it did have that one very episodic episode 7. No, it's not because Mike, and not because Will comes out of the closet, or no, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. That even that acting sequence was really great. It's just that a lot of stuff. It just felt like a filler episode that you kind of need, but you don't. You get it? You kind of need, but you don't. So, and then episode 8, because of the stuff that I had to do research, like why are the Demogorgons more stronger than the Mind Flyer? Why were they not there in the season finale of the battle and all that stuff? That's why I have to like duck it a point. It's like a 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 for this season 5, the series finale. The whole season itself, everything again going back to there. But if I bring in everything on Stranger Things and all the way that it's going, the way that it's built, everything, I do believe this is one of the best endings, one of the best shows, and it doesn't let you with like it doesn't. It's not Game of Thrones. It's not Walking Dead, where they give you bullshit endings. We're like, okay, even The Sopranos, a lot of people hated that ending. There's many shows where they end with the series and it doesn't know how to end it. There's even shows that don't even give you an ending because they get canceled. But this one gave you the ending, and we're gonna get some probably some spin-offs or not. Who knows? All I know, I can tell you that this is one of my favorite series finales, one of my favorite shows that I saw from like 10 years ago and on, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. The whole Stranger Things together as a whole thing is definitely en a toda madre. Season 5, I can give it like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. Yes, I can. But the whole Stranger Things, all 5 together, splashed in, 10 out of 10. If you guys saw it, what you guys think of it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? And whole, were you satisfied? Because I know I was. Do comment down below. Do push that like button. Do subscribe. And have yourself a good night, a good morning, and a good evening.